Hey everybody, welcome back to Tommy's Tesla Tech and Travel. This is a comic book edition, and we're going to do an unboxing today of sorts. We actually did a resubmission to CBCS of some books that we had graded previously that were all verified signatures. So I want to get them reholdered in their new holders with their new labels. If you haven't seen, CBCS is doing new labels in lieu of those older red ones. It's going to sound like I'm knocking on them. I swear I'm not. Nobody was a fan of those original red labels, myself included. I did them because I thought they were a great service, that you can get my signatures verified, and they now have a decent turnaround time. But that wasn't always the case. The first book I ever sent to CBCS was my Fantastic Four number 32 that I had signed by Stan Lee many years earlier. And I sent to CBCS on the recommendation of a shop owner up in Phoenix because they were able to verify signatures. And I wanted to make sure to preserve that book. But at that point in their time, really early on in the CBCS life, it took a year for it to come back. That was pressing, cleaning, because they didn't have in-house cleaning or pressing. They had to send it out. It took a year to get that book back. And best believe I was calling like every month to try to find out what was going on. Now, the turnaround times are a lot better. I actually sent these in to get reholstered, whatever you want to call it, less than 2 weeks ago, and I already have them back. And the only reason I didn't get them back earlier was because of the holiday time for Thanksgiving. Well, I sent in 4 books to get graded. And before we go any further, I just want to say shout out to Fantasy Comics. It's one of my favorite comic book shops in the world. I just got a new shirt from there. I wanted to show it off for y'all today. It's not a paid sponsorship or anything. I just love that shop. So if you're in Tucson, make sure you stop by Fantasy Comics and make sure you stop by Presidio Comics. Stop by every comic book shop, but these are the 2 that I like to go to a majority of the time. Back to the action. I sent 4 books in to get reholstered. I keep saying holstered, reholdered with the new labels. Because whether we like it or not, those red labels really came with a weird stigma. People were so used to the prestige of the yellow CGC labels that they were witness signatures, where many of us who were true fans, we always had opportunities to get books signed that weren't necessarily had a CGC represented there to see it. So we got them signed in good faith and out of love for the art and the artist. So now we have a way of going back and getting those verified, whether you're doing it for just, making sure they stay preserved or for like monetary value to resell, whatever. CBCS is the only company that verifies those signatures. And I wanted to get rid of those red labels and go with the new ones, which I think are better quality, and the holders themselves are actually fantastic and much better built. So let's see what we got. But before we do that, let's talk about the books I sent back in. I sent in a total of 4 books to get reholdered. I sent in my Haunt number 1, which was signed by Richard Starkings, Greg Capullo, Ryan Otley, Todd McFarlane, and Robert Kirkman. I also sent in my Spawn number 1, which was signed by Todd McFarlane. I sent in that same Fantastic Four 32 that I talked about earlier to get reholdered because that was literally like the first year they were open, so that was like OG CBCS. And last but not least, I also sent in my Amazing Spider-Man number 316, first Venom cover appearance, also signed by Todd McFarlane. And you saw those here on the screen now, and what we're going to do is we're going to show you what they look like now versus what they look like then. And without further ado, let's go. I'm not going to lie, y'all, I cheated. I already opened the box, but I haven't looked at them yet. You're going to see them in the same time that I am. So let's open them up and see what we got. And you have to give them credit, man. These boxes are very well packed. There's a lot of packing material for 4 books. That's a lot of packing material I got to pick up later too. Ooh. And we're back. That was the craziest amount of bubble wrap taping I have ever seen. It took me a solid 3 minutes to get the bubble wrap off, and I'm an adult. Okay, so the first book we're going to talk about is Spawn number 1. So I got this one signed by Todd McFarlane many moons ago. And we just always joke around with them like, hey Todd, how many of these books have you signed? Well, we printed 8 million, probably 9 million, whatever. The way Todd talks, I love that guy. In this book, it was one of those books that became really popular when I was younger. So, although I didn't read Spawn religiously, it was something that always meant a lot to me because it became popular as I was getting into comics. And as you see it here with the red label, here it is with their new yellow label and new holder. I have to say, I really like these holders and these labels infinitely better than what you saw with the red ones. These are utterly fantastic and look better. Like, now that I see it inside this new holder, my first thought is, how does it only get an 8.5? But to be fair, I don't really press or clean my books. I've only done it the once with that Fantastic Four 32. Just to see what it was like. I don't know, it's the historian in me. I love finding things with their original patina and like all their original age. But these new holders are absolutely great. They look so much better. And I can already, I'm very happy that I decided to go ahead and do this. So that's our Spawn number 1. The next one, it's a book a lot of people say, why did you even get that book signed or graded? Well, I thought it was really cool that I had the opportunity to meet all these artists and creators in one place. So I decided to take advantage. And I got this particular version of the books that just came out. They were just promoting it. That's why they all happened to be at the same convention in Phoenix. And I live in Tucson, Arizona. This was up in Phoenix, Arizona, about 100 miles away. And when I got there, one of the creators, I was actually talking with his wife while everyone was waiting in line. And she goes, oh, if it was me, I would buy this book because it's the rarer one. And we're doing a limited run. And it was the same version as the rest number ones, but no color. And it had a gold foil trim for where the title of the book was. So I went through and got it all signed. And as you see here, it's Haunt number 1. And that's signed by Todd McFarlane, Robert Kirkman, I almost said Ryan Kirkman, Robert Kirkman, Richard Starkings, Ryan Otley, and Greg Capullo. So you don't really get all these people in one shot, let alone get them to sign the same book. So I took advantage of it. And here it is with that new yellow label. See Todd here, you got Ryan, Richard Starkings, Greg Capullo, and Robert Kirkman. Of course, Robert had to sign it in black instead of red. But hey, you know what? Signature is a signature. And it's really cool to have that conversation with all of them and talk about this book. Granted, this book didn't last too terribly long. I think it just went past 30 issues, if I remember correctly. But it's kind of like their answer to Spawn. All these people came and worked together. This book, although not particularly sought after, to the right collector, I think is a very valuable piece, and it means the world to me. Almost my entire collection serves as memories of those moments, not really for that monetary value that we always talk about. So, fantastic book, and this looks so good in this new holder. Next up is The Amazing Spider-Man 316, the very first cover appearance of Venom. This book is really sought after now, but at the time I purchased it, I think I paid $10 for it, because I thought it was a really cool cover, but not everyone was really looking for this title at the time. And the reason I got this book is I knew for a fact I was going to see Todd McFarlane at that show, and I wanted to get him to sign something I thought was really cool and somewhat valuable, or is going to be potential valuable at some point in life, without having to invest in an Amazing Spider-Man 300 or one of the many other books he's worked on. So I picked this one for $10, and now it's a much sought after book. And as you see here is one of the original ones I got with that same red label again. And here it is with that yellow label. The Spider-Man down here for the count, Venom luring over him with the perfect Todd McFarlane signature on there. And this one got a 9.0. I think this one falls under that same guise of how did this only get a 9.0? But I digress. Fantastic book, and again, they just look so much better in these new holders. They don't have those weird pop things at the top. I mean, you can't just really crack these open easily. And they just look so good, y'all. I'm so happy I got this. And last, but certainly not least, is the book we've talked about most of the time here. The very first book I ever sent in. This one took me a year to get back initially when we sent it out to CBCS. And now, here we are with the yellow label. Signed by Stan Lee here at the bottom. I don't have all my other stuff here, but I had the ticket from when I got it signed, a picture of him signing it, the whole nine, because I got to meet Stan Lee. And one thing we've learned from all these books here today, guys, is their new holders are well worth it. If you have anything or holder with the old stuff with CBCS, I highly, highly recommend sending it for the reholder. And I know they're running some promotions. I don't know if they're still going on at the time of this video, but I got these all reholdered for $10 each with that promo code. So, yay on me. So, that is our experience getting our books reholdered with CBCS. I think it's absolutely worth it. I think the quality is much better than CGC now, and I love the way that their yellow labels look, especially in comparison to those old red labels. So if you have to, I'd recommend getting it done, getting them sent in. And I'm actually about to send in a bunch of books to get verified for the first time, because they're running another promotion right now. That's what I love about CBCS. They're always running these promotions, and the turnaround time now is so fast in comparison to what it was, and especially to their CGC counterparts. I really believe CBCS is the future of comic book grading, and I'm going to continue to grade with them. Does that mean that my nose is being turned up at CGC? Absolutely not. I still think they're the industry standard, and I think they're always going to be worth investing in and going through. But for a cheaper, cheaper alternative option, CBCS all the way, guys. Well, hey, thanks for tuning into another Tommy's Tesla Tech and Travel comic book edition. I hope this was somewhat educational and somewhat informative. I'll put the link down below for CBCS comics so you can see what I'm talking about. And share your experiences down there. Let me know what you think of them and if you've ever got anything graded through them. And if it turned out great or if it turned out bad, I'd love to hear it. All right, guys, thanks for taking a ride with us. Let's take another ride again soon. Bye-bye, everybody.